Good morning, everyone. Happy first day of school. I know that this is going to be a different year, and we're all probably feeling a little bit nervous, a little bit excited to see what's going to happen this school year. But I'm going to do a little read aloud that I like to do on the first day of school. So this is a book called Schools, First Day of School. While I'm reading, I want you to think about how school feels and think about if you have any similar feelings to school. And I want you to be thinking about this as I read through, make some comparisons, look for some personification, which is when we take an inanimate object, something that's not living, and give it human-like characteristics. So look for that personification and listen for the feelings of school and tell me if you feel any different or the same. So School's First Day of School. This is a story by Adam Rex. That summer, they dug up the big field and poured the foundation and set a brick on top of brick until they'd built a school. A sign above the door read, Frederick Douglass Elementary. That's a good name for me, thought the school. Most days, a man named Janitor came to mop the school and buff his floors and wash his windows. This is nice, the school said to Janitor. Just the two of us. Won't be just us for long, said Janitor. Soon the teachers will come, and then you'll be filled with children. So far, how is school feeling? Thinking about the way he's talking and the things he's saying, how do you think he feels at this point? The school creaked. Children. All kinds of children? They'll come to play games and to learn. Oh, said the school. Will you be here? You'll see me after the school day is over, said Janitor. Don't worry, you'll like the children. But the school thought that Janitor was probably wrong about that. So now we're kind of seeing a little bit of a change. He's feeling what seems like to me a little nervous about the change that's to come. So at this point, thinking about, are you nervous about the change? We're facing a big change with school this year. So do you feel similar to school at all? Then they came. The children did, and there were more of them than the school could possibly have imagined. They got everywhere. They opened and closed all of his doors and lockers, and drank water from his fountains, and played on his jungle gym. So that's what that is for, thought the school. So he's kind of learning what these things are all about, because before it was just him and the janitor. Some of the older kids gathered by the school's back fence and showed each other their bored faces. This place stinks, said one, and the school gasped. I hate school, said another with puffy hair, to the agreement of his friends. The school sagged a little, so now we're going through another change of emotions. He's feeling differently because of how the children are feeling about him. One very small girl with freckles didn't want to come inside the school at all. Her mother had to carry her. I must be awful, the school whispered to himself. Later, he squirted the puffy-haired kid in the face, then felt bad about it afterwards. So he's doing things that might not be too nice, probably because he's feeling a little angry at this point. So he went from being a little excited to a little nervous, and now he's reaching that angry phase. He watched the kindergarten kids sit on the rugs. The teacher said, as we go around the circle, please tell us your name. There was an Aiden, and a Max, and a Bella, and a Chloe, and a Caden, and an Emma, and another Aiden. The small girl with freckles was next, but she wouldn't speak. She only stared at her shoes until the teacher moved on. I don't like school, she whispered into her lap. Well, thought the school, maybe it doesn't like you either. The children were in their chairs, finally, but just as the school was starting to relax, his fire alarm sounded, and all the children exited and walked to the other side of the field and stared at him. He was so embarrassed. He held his doors open for them when they returned. Sorry, he said as the first child entered. Sorry, 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 he told them all, even the girl with the freckles. At 12 o'clock, the school was filled with food. At 12:30, the school was filled with the garbage. And one table, a boy had a funny joke, and another boy laughed so hard that milk came out of his nose. "Now I'm covered with nose milk," thought the school. He had to admit that it was a pretty funny joke, though. Even the girl with freckles liked it. After lunch, the kindergartners kids learned about shapes. "A rectangle has 4 sides," said the teacher. 1, 2, 3, 4. And a square has 4 sides too. In fact, a square is actually a special kind of rectangle. "Wow," said the school. "I did not know that." Are we seeing another change in school's feelings? I'm seeing something that seems a little bit different about school's feelings because he seems to be enjoying this lesson. Afterward, the children made pictures with glitter and paste. The girl with freckles made a picture of the school. "It looks just like me," thought the school, "except glittery. It's like she knows me all my life." "Do you think I could have your picture?" the teacher asked her. "Don't tell anyone, but I think it's the best." The school thought she was probably right about that. The freckled girl smiled when the teacher stuck her drawing onto the school wall with a pushpin. "Ouch," said the school, but he didn't mind, not really. At 3 o'clock, the parents came to pick up their children. At 3:30, janitor came to pick up the school. "I was full of kids," the school told him, "and I heard a joke, and I accidentally had a fire drill, but everyone was nice about it, and I listened to a classroom and learned about shapes." So his talking to janitor sounds a little bit excited. He was excited about the things that happened, and he kind of is starting to get used to how things work with children inside. "You had a big day," said janitor. "Do you think," the school said, "do you think that you can invite everyone to come back tomorrow? Especially that little freckled girl." Janitor nodded. "I'll see what I can do." Later, janitor sat on top of the school, and they watched the sun go down. "In the beginning, I didn't know what I was," said the school. "I thought I was your house." "Nope," said janitor. I suppose some other place gets to be your house," the school added. Janitor nodded. "That's true, but you get to be the school. That's lucky." And the school thought he was probably right about that. So that last page kind of sums up the feelings that he had at the end. So I'm going to go back and I'm just going to read that last little part of the beginning. "In the beginning, I didn't know what I was," said the school. "I thought I was your house." That kind of makes me think that why he was so scared was because of the unknown. And I'm sure going into this year, there's a lot of unknowns. Things are going to be a little different, and we're going to do things like this. But it's going to be great, and you're going to feel a lot like school. You might have some questions. You might be a little bit nervous. You might feel differently than you would have had you been in the school. But in the end, just like school, we're all going to make it through, and we'll learn together.